Hey, this is Kat from Red Mountain Shaman, and I share shamanic wisdom through dreams, visions, nature, synchronicities, intuition, channeling, art, music, photography, and shamanic journeys. Welcome back to my channel. Due to the intense solstice energy this week, I've had many interesting spiritual experiences, and I've received many messages this week, so this episode will be a little bit longer than usual. I will be sharing a few words and phrases that I heard from Spirit in client sessions this week that I feel might be needing to be shared with the collective, and it feels very much like collective tidings or news. I'm also going to be sharing my interpretation of this year's first crop circle and what I experienced during 2 solstice ceremonies yesterday, what I saw in the Akashic records this week, and a channeled message from Archangel Metatron to get a higher perspective on all of this. But before I jump into all of this, I wanted to quickly address a comment I got under my last video. Someone said, "Everyone is a shaman these days, LOL." I do agree that shamanism is on the rise, and there are a lot of people out there who take a shamanic course and think they are now a shaman. So it doesn't really work that way, but anyone can incorporate shamanic practices into their daily life, and I encourage that. But in my opinion, one of the main hallmarks of a true shaman is that they are called by the spirits, and they are a bridge between the worlds. They have one foot in the world of matter and one foot in the world of spirit. They work with the spirits in order to bring forth healing and information back to their people. This ability to effortlessly traverse dimensions crosses all cultures, races, and traditions. I will go into other ways that you can discern if someone is a true shaman in a future video. But in my opinion, this skill or spiritual gift would be first and foremost. And if you're watching my videos, you are likely part of my tribe. I send out my love and healing to you, and I hope that the information that I am bringing back forth from the spiritual realms is helpful for you. That being said, the first phrase I heard from Spirit in a session this week was the word octave. I had no clue what this meant, but after doing a little digging, I learned that the octave is an esoteric concept about ebb and flow. There is also a short, beautiful video about it called "What is the Octave?" on YouTube, and this is on a channel called Mastering Alchemy. And it's about how this concept relates to the times we're moving into, if you want to check it out. I also wanted to read a passage from a website I found called Awakenings Institute. Octaves mark new beginnings in the Bible. The octave is rooted in creation. After the Lord God strums his 6+1 song of creation, the cycle begins again with another day after the Sabbath, a first day, which is also an 8th. This is also a relatively unknown spiritual law to avoid pitfalls as we are working towards our dreams. So the phrase "to everything there is a season" relates to this law. And what's so special about this spiritual law? This concept could change your life and, where applicable, enhance your abilities as a healer, coach, or counselor. More than a century ago, Armenian philosopher George Gurdjieff described the law of octaves as a universal law. According to this spiritual law of success, every process we undertake is on either an ascending octave that's helping us to progress or a descending octave that's causing us to regress. And within the flow of each process or octave, there are seasons or periods of movement followed by periods of rest, which are called intervals. The concept of octaves and intervals identify opportunities and obstacles that are built into any process. With awareness, they can help us to deal effectively with periods of movement and rest in our lives, so we can progress steadily towards our goals. Intervals provide a natural resting place amid the bustle and activity of life. In a period of activity, they may be inviting us to turn your attention inward to assess where we are, so that then we can go out and take our next steps. The movement of life has to rest in its own music. The key with intervals is to return to the goal when the time is right to make further progress. Unfortunately, after becoming distracted, many people give up when the honeymoon ends. It's easy to lose sight of our goals when an interval occurs. We may realize that reaching our goal may not be as easy as we had hoped. Awareness is a key now, recognizing that the positive purpose of the interval is to examine the opportunity it presents. It may be time to take a break, reevaluate your direction, clear any inner blocks that may be holding you back, re-examine why you want to achieve this goal, or what is your motivation. Ask for guidance regarding what is needed to progress further. Clarify your next steps. With awareness, you can stay focused and return to the octave when the interval has ended. Then you probably have a clear sailing for a while again. The honeymoon is over now, so you need to draw on greater commitment to continue in the direction of your goal. This renewed progress takes you through until another roadblock appears. The law of octaves is profound. It shows how things can turn into their opposite as each interval can lead to another deviation and on and on. This is why many people are never reaching their goals. If we fail to bridge intervals, we can find ourselves putting a lot of effort into going nowhere. It may be harder to perceive the law of octaves in more abstract and large scale. Here it helps to recognize that long octaves tend to have large scale intervals, which can be very challenging. On a positive note, bridging them successfully provides tremendous rewards. Understanding the law of octaves and connecting with the synchronicity of life saves us a lot of aggravation and allows us to feel renewed in our commitment when our energy is again required. Alternating periods of activity and rest are natural to survive, let alone thrive. Capacity, interest, and mental endurance all wax and wane. Plan accordingly. So I asked Archangel Metatron if he would expound upon this law in the channeling today, and he does a little bit here. And I think it's basically related to, remember I said in the past video, we're in a time of stasis right now, or a lot of people feel kind of stuck. So I do feel we're in an interval or kind of a rest period before activity is once again renewed, or our energy is once again renewed. So the next phrase I heard in a session this week was, "Render to Caesar what is his." Now, I have made it clear in past videos that I believe much of the Bible is inverted, mistranslated, and severely edited, but there is some truth in it, so it's up to us to discern. So here is the context of Jesus' command to render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's. In Matthew 22, Jesus had just returned to Jerusalem for the final time, and recently finishing sharing several parables with the crowd. Jesus' enemies saw an opportunity to put him on the spot in front of his followers. In verse 17, they say to him, "Tell us then what you think. Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not?" It was a trick question, and they knew it, and if Jesus answered no, the Herodians would charge him with treason against Rome. If he said yes, the Pharisees would accuse him of disloyalty to the Jewish nation, and he would lose the support of the crowds. To pay taxes or to not pay taxes, the question was designed as a catch-22. Jesus' response is nothing short of brilliant. But Jesus, aware of their malice, said, "Why put me to the test, you hypocrites? Show me the coin for the tax." And they brought him a denarius. The denarius was a coin used as the tax money at the time. It was made of silver and featured an image of the emperor with an inscription calling him divine. The Jews considered such images idolatry, forbidden by the second commandment. This was another reason why if Jesus answered yes, he would be in trouble. His acceptance of the tax as lawful could have been seen as a rejection of the second commandment, thus casting doubt on his claim to be the Son of God. With the coin displayed in front of them, Jesus said, "Whose likeness and inscription is this?" The Herodians and Pharisees, stating the obvious, said, "Caesar's." Then Jesus brought an end to their foolish tricks. "Therefore, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God." And that's in Matthew 22, verse 21. Upon hearing this, Jesus' enemies marveled and went away. So, as we now can see, Our current administration is sending billions of our tax money to other countries, funding war, and flat-out overtaxation that they sneak in with layers upon layers of taxation on literally everything from food to inheritance. And many are getting frustrated with this corrupt and enslaving system. I'm hoping that Metatron will address this in further detail today. The next phrase I heard in a session was paper trail. I intuitively feel like this might concern the collective as well, so I'll be also asking Metatron to address this. I also heard the term firewall. I did some research and learned that Zechariah experienced a series of night visions in the Bible. The third vision in Zechariah 2, 1-13 highlights the significance of Jerusalem in God's restoration plan for Israel. In this vision, a man begins to measure the city's perimeter to construct its ruined walls, or reconstruct its ruined walls. But the angel stops him with a message from the Lord. Run, tell that young man, Jerusalem will be a city without walls, because of the great number of people and animals in it. And I myself will be a wall of fire around it, declares the Lord, and it will be its glory within. So I wrote a poem several years ago about this that references the concept of not having walls before I ever even knew about this scripture. So I'm going to read that for you now. This poem is called Holy, and we may make a song out of it one day, but I wrote this back in 2015. Holy, holy, the color of the land. Holy, the lines upon my hand. Holy, come see, you will not sink into the sand. Come see, holy, holy. Rising shadows along the hills, mountains of my home. Hear that singing, the whippoorwill, mountains of my home. Lift your eyes, look ahead, no thrones, no pedestals. Lift your feet, take a step, no stone around your neck. Take a breath, look around, no walls surround. Step outside into the air, there is light, it's everywhere. Holy, holy. So I also feel that the term firewall refers to the protection and fire of the Creator, so that there is no physical walls needed around the New Jerusalem. It is rather a state of being, a consciousness, as many of us may choose to stay in the captivity of the metaphorical Babylon. Those of us who choose the metaphorical Zion are choosing freedom and sovereignty. I believe this term firewall refers to having the wall of fire, that is Great Spirit's protection, mercy, and guidance. The next thing I wanted to share is an experience I had a couple days ago when I woke up at exactly 4:44. I couldn't go back to sleep, so I turned on the TV for a bit, and a video with the first crop circle of 2024 popped up. It had a big circle with 4 smaller circles within it, and it also had 5 circles in a row just above it. The 4 smaller circles made me think of foundations of New Earth, setting new foundations on Earth for future generations. The 5 circles above it made me think of a dream I had where I saw a huge landslide. After the slide came to a stop, the number 555 appeared along with the letters TRUMP underneath it. In numerology, 5 can be about overcoming obstacles, also change, good luck, transformation, freedom, and personal growth. The second the video about the crop circles ended, I glanced at the clock again and it was exactly 5:44. Interestingly enough, when my sister medium Michaela and I went into the Akashic Records this week, Mr. T is one of the beings that came forward. You can visit medium Michaela's YouTube channel, by the way, for her beautiful daily sermons from Yeshua at Christ Phoenix Rising Academy. So we tend to think that Mr. T seems to be associated with Archangel Uriel, as Uriel always seems to be showing up with him lately. Mr. T stood there with his arms folded and his legs slightly apart in kind of a power stance, and he had a golden crown on his head, slightly tilted to one side. The next day, I was out thrifting, and as synchronicity would have it, I came across a funky tank top that had the tarot card, the Emperor, on it. And it was an emperor with a gold crown, slightly tilted a bit to the side like Mr. T showed up with. I found it fascinating that the Emperor card represents leadership, creating structure, strong foundations, positive outcomes, setting up your own rules and boundaries, clear vision, and organization. As the leader of the group, the Emperor is not scared of conflicts because he knows the right moves and words that will bring the case in his favor if someone is trying to disrupt the peace among the community or trying to harm his people. He knows exactly how to treat them accordingly. The next thing I saw in the Akashic records was Yeshua, and he appeared with an old Civil War uniform on. He simply took the brim of his cap and nodded at us with a wink and a smile. A few years ago, I saw a soldier all dressed in black in a shamanic journey. He stepped out of the shadows for a minute and let me see that he looked to have on high-tech garb, and he felt like a good guy. He nodded at me and stepped back into the shadows. To me, it felt very much like some sort of black ops or special forces of some kind. I'm hoping that some clarity on this comes through in today's channeled message as well. The last thing I wanted to share was some beautiful experiences I had with the Native American ancestors during my solstice ceremonies yesterday. I had a client who is having some strange issues in her home, and she mentioned that she was guided to make a medicine wheel in her backyard a while back, not understanding why, and that she had a dream that a snake was squeezing her chest. So I went into a journey to see what was going on there, and I was met by some disgruntled native spirits who explained that her home was on a site that was special to them. They said that they simply wanted acknowledgement, as they put it, and to honor the dead. I explained this to my client, and it started to make a lot of sense to her as to why she was inspired to make this medicine wheel in her yard when she knew very little about what it meant in the first place. I advised her to make an offering in the middle of the medicine wheel with all natural materials and simply ask to live in harmony with the spirit and the spirit of the land after paying them honor. Then I myself felt guided to do my own ceremony to help bring back balance to this situation. I was shown that there was some sort of curse over the entire continent that seemed to be coming from dark forces or inverted secret societies. I called in Yeshua and I asked him for assistance to unwind and dissolve any black magic that has been wielded over Turtle Island. The spirits surrounded me with drumming in a circle dance. I reached out and I asked them if they would merge their forces with those of us on Earth who are working towards liberation and divine sovereignty of this continent and this planet. I felt an energy surge as they called out with their traditional war cry, which I took as a yes, and that they were excited to assist us in this spiritual battle. Not more than 2 seconds after I closed this ceremony, it started to rain. I felt like this was another nod from the spirits that the drought will indeed soon be ending. That evening, I did a second ceremony, which many well-known Lakota chiefs and medicine men came forward, including Sitting Bull. I also saw Red Cloud, Crazy Horse, Chief Seattle, Chief Joseph, the Paiute shamans Wokava and Wotsawab, and Yeshua appeared in the middle of this circular council of tribes. Yeshua guided me to draw a circle with an equal-sided cross inside of it, and also to draw a 5-pointed star over the land as a sigil of protection and liberation. I saw the white wolf digging at an archaeological site again, and beneath the dirt, the name Yeshua appeared, along with the Star of David. I also saw this name appear on a large wall in Jerusalem. The indigenous elders agreed to assist with the dismantling of darkness and the inverted snake energy that has had a stronghold over Turtle Island for centuries. I then saw the rainbow serpent and Quetzalcoatl encircle this ceremony for further fortification and blessing. Sitting Bull gave a warning that there may be some further upheaval, especially in bigger coastal cities, but not to go into fear and use our own discernment. And we can also call in this firewall of protection within us daily as we move through this time of transition. After these ceremonies, I was reminded of a song I wrote a few years ago called Ghost Horse that mentions the concept about merging our earthly forces with the forces of heaven. If you want to read the full lyrics and hear the song, please visit the Bandcamp website and type in our band name, Paladine. Palodine. This song is in our last album called Feathers and Fur. An excerpt from the lyrics reads, "We will merge our forces. We will see with our new eyes. We will dance as horses. We will circle. We will fly." And I almost always associate the horse spirit animal as representing freedom. So another thing I saw in meditation is a huge cloud or a bank of mist or fog rolling in. This is the second time I've seen this, and I'm hoping Metatron might mention it. And the last thing I wanted to share was the term diamond light portal. I received this phrase in a session with a client when she asked me to decode some symbols she received from her own guides for her. So without further delay, I will now share what I hear Metatron saying as he shares his perspectives about all of this with us. Greetings, daughter of the Most High. I step forward this day of my own free will. You have experienced many beautiful exchanges with Spirit this week, and this is partially because you are indeed moving through a diamond light portal. This simply means that light codes of the diamond frequency are filtering in as the solstice passes. What are these diamond light codes, you ask? They are the frequency of sovereignty, of higher Christ consciousness, and carry with them the impenetrable light of a new era. This is the firewall of creation, the protection of Spirit, the fire of God. For those who are receptive to its vibration, the diamond light portal allows in packets of information for deeper understanding of cosmic wisdom, universal truth, and further enlightenment, such as you are sharing here today. One of these universal truths or natural laws is the law of the octave. The octave is a current of consciousness, and this current does, as you say, ebb and flow. Humanity has been in an ebb for quite a while now, and as the tide recedes, it must always return. The pendulum will indeed swing back into balance, as humanity has experienced a dark night of the soul. As this dark night comes to a crescendo, you may even experience an actual blackout. If the proverbial 3 days of darkness manifests, we advise you to go within, dear friends of the light, for your flame of creation is what will light the way and bring rebirth and resurrection. Many are so obsessed and recessed with their world of 3D technology that they have completely forgotten their inner being and their organic technology associated with their spiritual power and gifts. This again, friends and comrades, is what humanity will be remembering, as these devices may give out for a time and prove inferior. Your societal systems will also prove inferior in many ways, and one of these systems is the fallen state of taxation. The taxes being collected from you are indeed being used against you, as we have previously mentioned. And as this further is revealed, the people of Mother Earth will begin to rise up and say no more. They will demand transparency and a paper trail. They will want to know where and how their hard-earned money is being utilized, and if it is for their benefit or not. It will indeed be laid bare that overtaxation is a means of extracting resources to keep humanity in a state of survival, fear, violence, conflict, and helplessness. This will be changing as you yourselves demand change, and the Great Spirit will always assist you with righteous desires of transformation. As the saying goes, waste not, want not. The walls of the New Jerusalem will not be fortified with stone, but by the fire of Spirit. Those who carry the holy fire within them will indeed lay witness to court corruption and release the Kraken upon those who seek to destroy, enslave, and overpower you. The Kraken represents the realm of trust in the unseen. As you trust in the power of the heavenly realms to truly assist you, so it will be. We are indeed merging the forces of heaven and earth to overturn the tables of the puppet masters. The fallen ones have little time left and have been given every chance to realign themselves with the light and get back on course. As the purification process continues, the darkest vibrations will be leaving the planet. For the mists of creation will overpower the forces of destruction. For when one seeks power and control over another, and is working with the forces of darkness for self-gain, it never ends well for them. So at this time we unravel and dissolve these forces so as to bring in the power of creation, for a great renaissance is at hand. There will be a shepherd's call to action, and that action will bring these controlling energies to their knees. For it is spoken in the book of Enoch, which I myself have shared, that wickedness will be removed, and righteousness will reign forevermore. There will be no more demonic influence over earth, as it has been prophesied on earth as it is in heaven. For I have experienced earth as the prophet Enoch, and I now merge forces with you as the archangel Metatron. All of heaven surrounds you at this great time of transformation, and you have been sent signs and wonders of this coming age, and will continue to witness these wonders in the skies and within your own consciousness. The mysterious wonder of the crop circle is also a sign that breakthroughs are coming, as the energies are flowing in at greater and greater velocity now. Wrap yourselves in the armor of God, the great spirit of all things, for it flows within you. I am Metatron, keeper of the flame, wanderer of the heavens, bringing justice and solace to earth. Trust in the powers of heaven, and it shall be on earth as it is in heaven. Amen and amen. Thank you for joining me today, and I so appreciate all your supportive and enlightening comments, likes, and subscribes. Please share my videos with like-minded people if you feel called. And if you would like your own channeled message, energy work, readings, and other healing services, or you just want to send a donation, please visit redmountainshaman.com to learn more. Sending you all love. Until next week, take care.